Greetings of the day, everyone. I'm Paramjeet from Nesting Mart, and I have with me Mrs. Ria Nair. Glad to have you, Ria, with us. And she is a clinical dietitian and consulting nutritionist practicing past 21 years and helping people achieving their health goals. From adults to children, she's been counseling and designing nutritional plans for all who requires professional and medical assistance. And the plans are customized as per individual's body type, medical parameters, preferences, and convenience. And she has contributed a lot to the nutritional health of pregnant women and lactating mothers. And as Nesting Mart is a holistic hub for mothers, celebrating motherhood, giving tips on parenting and mothers. So we are glad to have Ria Nair with us to have a talk and suggest to the mothers during their pregnancy what kind of diet they should take, and to also to the lactating mothers. So welcome, Ria Nair.
Thank you so much, Paramjeet. It's a pleasure. It's an absolute pleasure to be here talking to you live one-on-one. So yeah, thanks a lot.
Okay. We are also
Thanks for
glad
the
to have.
lovely introduction too.
Okay.
Thanks for the lovely introduction.
And as I told you that Nesting Mart is a holistic hub for parents, and we also through our blogs we keep on educating with child. We talk about child care, mother care. So in this series today, I would like to know from you about the nutritional things about the pregnant ladies and how nutritional diets are important during the lactation period. Okay, so if I ask you, like, what's the major change that happened during pregnancy, and what's the role of nutrition in it?
Okay. As we all know, pregnancy is the very crucial and significant stage, a milestone in a woman's life. So most of us have passed through the stage, and it's a very wonderful period. So and we as the process is, it's the change of entire hormones, the physical change, chemical change, the mental change, physiological and psychological change altogether, which happens in the system. So and this at this point of time, we need to take utmost care. This process has to be handled very sensitively and delicately, because as we all know, there's a new birth growing inside, there's a new life forming inside our womb. So yes, pregnancy is a very, very crucial and significant stage of for any woman, any woman. So now the nutritional aspects regarding this. How important is nutrition in pregnancy? Nutrition is, of course, very, very important, because we are not just feeding ourselves as a new mother, as a pregnancy. We are also feeding our life, the life growing inside us, the life being growing inside us. So we need to take care that we are nourished with important nutrients. Especially, I would highlight the role of folic acid and vitamin B, vitamin D, and iron, calcium. These nutrients play a very important role, majorly for the brain development of the fetus, the bones, the teeth, and the overall development, how the fetus grows. Pregnancy is all about divided into 3 trimesters. All right. The first 3 months is the first trimester. The second 3 months is the second. And the third, the last part, is the third trimester. So what a woman requires is from day one is good nutrition, starting from day one to her 40 weeks, termination, the entire 40 weeks of full-term pregnancy. So we focus on folic acid, as I said, and vitamin B, which nourishes your body and the fetus body, the fetus also, the brain development and every process that takes place. Folic acid plays a very important role, folate. So the food products that has folate in it are, like, for example, dark green leafy vegetables. We have eggs, we have broccoli, cauliflower, many fruits and vegetables, oranges, fortified cereals, a lot of fortified cereals, and of course your liver and some non-vegetarian sources, and rest are vegetarian sources as well. Proteins are much required. Proteins are also an essential part for the development of the body, the muscles, and everything that takes place inside. And this is not just for the mother. We are talking about for the newborn, new being, yeah, growing inside the womb. So we have to take care of each and every aspect in pregnancy. And since there are times when you can't derive all the nutrition from foods, from all the foods altogether, so we need to rely on supplements, which your gynecologist puts you on. So yes, iron is a very important nutrient. Iron deficient, just to prevent iron deficiency anemia in pregnancy, it's a very important mineral, to actually take care that the the pregnant woman is not anemic, which can lead to further problems. So yes, all this calcium is another important nutrient. Calcium at least 1,000 milligrams per day is required. Iron at least 27 micrograms. Yeah, and folate and vitamin B, I would say roughly around 400 micrograms. Okay. So yes, these are the major requirements. Apart from this, of course, you have your omega-3, then you have your vitamin A, vitamin K, vitamin C. All these are included in this, for the proper nutrition of a pregnant woman, a would-be mother.
A would-be mother.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if I ask you that what kind of physical activities are permissible during this time period, then what are
Okay.
you going to talk about? Yeah.
So the initial, what we suggest is the initial trimester is kind of dicey for many pregnant ladies, okay, because they face a lot of nausea, vomiting, as we all know. It's quite
Mhm.
natural. So
Mhm.
all the hormonal imbalances, what happens? So just to avoid this entire phase, you need to keep it low on your physical activity. I suggest and recommend, and a lot of doctors, gynacs, they recommend a 30 minutes walk, moderate walking, which is very much required. And apart from that, your yoga, you can resort to yoga, meditation, which helps a lot, because you need to be in the state of calm also. Very important that the pregnant lady is always in a calm state. So yoga, asanas, some mild asanas, exercises help a lot. Yeah.
And
And
yeah, yeah, just continue.
so walking would be on high top priority, because walking really helps throughout all the trimesters. So one has to always walk, you know.
Okay.
One after conception also, walking shouldn't be stopped. You
Shouldn't
can
be.
walk unless you're advised not to walk and you have a swollen feet, or because of your sodium, retention. So there are
Mm-hmm.
cases where there's sodium retention in the feet and you're supposed to take bed rest. But apart from that, if your pregnancy is completely normal and going in a good pace, you can walk every day.
Okay.
Yeah.
Some
Hmm.
ladies, they have no problem of blood pressure, high BP during the
Yes.
pregnancy time period. So what kind of diet should be suggested to them? Or are there some
Okay.
precautions they need to be they should take?
Okay. So yes, there are. This condition is known as preeclampsia. So what happens during this period is suddenly the BP shoots up, and it is very common in pregnant ladies. It happens roughly in 8 to 10 women, pregnant women. So what one needs to do is just be resting. They are put on drugs, be some BP medicines, and asked to control their salt intake, pickles, papads, these kind of recommends. Yes, very
Mhm.
important. No salty foods, no processed foods. Just stick to home cooked simple meals.
Simple
Yeah.
meals.
So very important to control the sodium intake
Okay. And I've also
during
heard
this.
that some women know during pregnancy they also become diabetic during pregnancy time period, and after pregnancy then they are not. So what is this? Why this happens, and what kind of precaution they should take?
Yeah, all right. So this is called gestational diabetes, the diabetes that happens in pregnancy. And usually it happens in many women, as you must have heard, or read. So what happens is the general tendency is to eat, because you're pregnant and you have another life growing inside you. As a lay person, we are advised, or we ourselves know that we need to eat more, because we need to feed but we have to understand where the calories, we need to eat more, a little more, but not to stuff in too much. We need to
Hmm.
understand where the calories are coming from. Is it coming just empty calories coming from processed food, or your fats, or too much of heavy meals? No, it should come from your whole grains, your fruits and vegetables, your natural cereals, most of all grains. When I talk about carbohydrates and proteins, most of all grains. And then your egg sources, protein sources, which are your cottage cheese, paneer, tofu, everything like that. But ideally you should keep your fats at in a very restricted amount. So
Okay.
what happens is, during this stage, during this pregnancy, this diabetes occurs when the sugar levels are shot up. And the sugar levels are shot up because either you're stressed up, and during this phase it is obvious, and then you tend to eat a lot. The another reason is you tend to eat from sources which are not really required to be eaten in that trimester.
Okay.
As I said, the processed
Hmm.
things, the sugar, the everything, the empty calories are there because we crave. When there's no nausea, we crave for food. We crave and we grab our hands on anything that's in front of us.
Yeah.
So it's very important, yeah, to keep a check on what you're eating. And diabetes occurs usually because of these problems.
Okay.
And when once you get gestational diabetes, it is very important to control it and keep it at bay, because it will ultimately, it's very fatal. It would affect the mother and the child, both of them, which we don't want. So
Yes.
it's very dangerous. So it's always better to keep everything on a moderate level, your
Moderate
eating
level.
style, meals. Yes.
Okay.